So we're going to take our mapping feature a little bit further now. We've got, from a previous tutorial, a working Leaflet JS map in our AppStudio app, and we can see that working here. So this is OpenStreetMaps being used through Leaflet JS. And the good thing about OpenStreetMap is that it's completely free. We don't need to register for an API key or anything like that. Like we would do if we were using Google Maps. But now we've got a working map, but let's try and make it useful. So potentially on an app or a map app, we might want pins or pop-ups. So if we go to the Leaflet JS Quick Start guide, there's actually a section on markers, circles, and polygons. And we can see a demo here. You can ring fence circles or polygons or any shape on the map, and also drop markers or pins. And there's some code samples here. So to add a marker, it's actually very simple. It's a single line of code. You define l.marker and give it lat long, and then add to your map. So we'll come back to that. You can also add circles and polygons. You see in the circle, you're actually defining the central point and then defining the radius and color, etc. With a polygon, it's l.polygon, and then you provide an array of lat longs. So each lat long will then be joined up and create the polygon. So with 3 points, that would create a triangle. You can supply as many points as you want, and it will create a shape to match. So you can create some very complicated outlines if you provided a lot of lat longs to this polygon feature. We can also work with pop-ups. And the example code here is bind pop-up. So you can bind it to an element that you've already created, and then you can automatically open it rather than waiting for the user to click on it by calling open pop-up. Okay, so there's lots of stuff we can do quite easily based on this documentation, but let's go back into AppStudio and start by trying to add a marker to our app. So let's go back to our app, get our window back open, and we're going to the code of our map form, and we are going to be adding our code to where the existing code is. So we've already got the setup here. We've got the map container identified. We've set the current view to this central point, which is a point based in London. Just for this example, we've set up the OpenStreetMaps layer. And now we are going to add a marker. So let's do this like so. So we are going to set l.marker, and then I've set the middle point to be the same as where we're starting the map, just for convenience. And we add to our map NSB, because that's the actual map we're working with. So we've added that one line, and let's run it and see how that behaves. Okay, so we've gone into our map form, and now we can see we've got a marker right in the middle of the map where we've defined. So there's nothing attached to it. If I try and clicking on it, it doesn't do anything. But we've got a marker, and we could add as many markers as we wanted to. So we could duplicate this, for example, change the points very slightly. Maybe let's just demonstrate this and see what happens when we add 2 points. Not sure where these coordinates will end up. I think they'll be very close to each other. And yeah, probably too close. You can actually see, because they're so close, but if you zoom right in, 2 different pointers there just across the road from each other. Okay, so that demonstrates you can add multiple markers. Okay, so let's remove that second one for now. What I'm going to do now is add a pop-up to this. So what we can do, as you can see in the example code, you can actually daisy chain methods. And what I mean by that is that you can add, for example, in this case, you've got bind popup, but then you've got .open popup, and you've done it on a single line. You haven't had to do it on separate lines. So how does that help us? Well, it means we can add quite flexibly to this code. We can use the bind popup method. Sorry, let's try that again. I can add a new line just to keep things tidy, and we'll go bind popup and put some comment in there. Okay, and end the line. And notice that we've put this on a new line, but that doesn't matter. It could be single line like that, but we can put it on a new line. It won't break the code, but it makes it a little bit more readable. So let's try this, and we'll run this again. And I just need to fix the layout because I closed the tab previously. So we'll refresh that. Go to map. And there we go. Click on the marker, or click on the marker of the pin, and we have a pop-up appearing. So my city, and we can close that or click on it again. And notice we can also daisy chain another command, .open popup, and we saw this from the documentation. And what this will do will open up the pop-up when the map loads. So let's try loading this again. We'll go map, and there we go. So by default, the marker has the pop-up bound to it, and it's opened up by default.